This is called the Brazen Bull, a masterpiece of engineering, or one of history's greatest lies. For centuries, people believed victims were burned alive inside a hollow bronze statue, while their screams echoed as the roar of a bull. But the deeper you investigate, the stranger the story becomes. To understand the Brazen Bull, we first need to travel to the island of Sicily in the city of Acragas. At the time, Sicily was one of the wealthiest regions in the Mediterranean. Yet beneath that prosperity, politics were often unstable. Rival factions often competed for power. And in the city of Acragas, one man would become remembered as one of antiquity's most infamous rulers. His name was Phalaris. But once Phalaris became ruler of Acragas, his reputation spread throughout the Greek world. Later historians described him as ruthless, a man who crushed opposition without hesitation. Some even claimed his cruelty became legendary. Yet this is where history begins to blur. Nearly everything we know about Phalaris comes from writers who lived centuries after his lifetime. Their accounts may preserve genuine history, or they may have exaggerated his reputation to create the image of the perfect tyrant. It is within this uncertainty that another name suddenly appears, a craftsman, an inventor, a man whose ambition would allegedly create one of history's most terrifying legends, whose name was Phalaris, and according to the story, he had brought the tyrant a gift unlike anything the ancient world had ever seen. The Brazen Bull was unlike any invention that had come before it. Phalaris believed it would secure his place in history. Instead, it led to his destruction. In an age where metal shaped kingdoms, artisans like Phalaris transformed raw ore into weapons, statues, armor, and monuments. But according to later tradition, Phalaris wanted to create something the world had never seen, an invention that would guarantee his name would never be forgotten. Phalaris believed he understood the minds of kings. They craved monuments, they celebrated victories, they pursued power. But tyrants demanded something far more enduring, which is fear. So Phalaris set out to create something the ancient world had never seen, a machine built for execution, a device designed not merely to kill, but to terrify everyone who witnessed it. When the work was complete, Phalaris requested an audience with Phalaris. The invention was transported through the streets of Acragas. Citizens reportedly gathered in amazement. Some admired its craftsmanship, others wondered, why would anyone build such a thing? Phalaris presented his invention to Phalaris. Inside the hollow bronze bull, the condemned would be sealed alive. A fire would burn beneath the metal, and as the heat rose, their screams would pass through hidden pipes, emerging as the roar of a raging bull. To Phalaris, it was a triumph of engineering. To Phalaris, it was the perfect instrument of terror. To demonstrate the device, Phalaris allegedly described how the bronze chambers would transform human screams into the sound of an angry beast. Ancient authors admired the invention, but they also used the story as a warning. Intelligence without morality can become a self-destructive weapon, but whether every detail happened exactly as described remains uncertain. Phalaris expected praise, perhaps wealth, perhaps immortality. Instead, Phalaris smiled and asked him to step inside. Phalaris climbed inside the hollow bronze chamber. The heavy door closed behind him from within. He tried to explain how the sound pipes would transform the voice of anyone trapped inside, but his words echoed through the bronze mouth like the sound of a bull. According to later Greek and Roman writers, Phalaris ordered a fire to be lit beneath the bull. The bronze slowly absorbed the heat, smoke drifted upward, the metal began to glow. Phalaris is not said to have left Phalaris inside until death. Once he had enough, Phalaris ordered the fire extinguished. Phalaris was pulled from the bull still alive, but he was taken away and executed by being thrown from a cliff. Unfortunately, the inventor became the first victim of his own creation. Historians cannot say with certainty whether this execution actually occurred, but the story spread rapidly through the ancient world. Writers repeated it, philosophers cited it, orators used it as an example of tyranny. The brazen bull became more than an execution device. It became a symbol, a warning of what absolute power could become. The legend raises another question. Could such a device actually have been built? Bronze workers of the ancient world possessed extraordinary skill. They cast monumental statues, forged complex weapons, and engineered remarkable works of art. From a technical perspective, constructing a hollow bronze sculpture was entirely possible, but whether the brazen bull existed exactly as described is another matter altogether. So, was the brazen bull real? The honest answer is that we simply don't know. Ancient writers believed it existed. Modern historians remain divided. The technology was certainly possible, yet the evidence remains incomplete. Perhaps the brazen bull was an actual execution device. Perhaps later generations transformed a smaller truth into a larger legend, or perhaps it was always intended to symbolize the cruelty of absolute power until new evidence emerges. The mystery remains unsolved. That is exactly why its story has endured for over 25 centuries. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy exploring history's darkest mysteries, subscribe to Ancient Files.